Hi, how's it going, guys? My name is Tester. I go by that. And I'm here to show you my Great Nature post-GBT02 deck profile. As you can see, the starting Vanguard is Pencil Koala. I like the pressure that he puts on my opponent, and usually you can get a hit in with him, which definitely gives you an edge. Trigger lineup. I play 8 critical. Ruler Chameleon, so I can use his ability if it's needed. I'm not suggesting that you always use it, but I also play Tester Fox.
What's its ability?
Its ability is I can counterblast one to send, or whenever it's retired at the end phase, I could search for it, another copy of it out of the deck and put it in my hand. I would highly recommend that you do this if you need more guard or you need advantage, but do keep in mind it thins your deck of triggers. Play 4 draw triggers in the form of Castanet Donkey.
Best donkey.
Best donkey. Its skill, Send to the Soul, plus 3k to any unit of Margle clone, and then 4 heal trigger.
And what does the koala do?
Oh. Sorry about that. The koala pressure unit, whenever he successfully boosts a unit that hits a Vanguard, I can choose one other rear guard and give it plus 4k power and draw a card at the end of turn. Really good.
Does it retire a unit?
It does retire the unit.
Okay.
For grade 1 lineups, I play Cable Sheep over Contradiction Instructor because of all the Metalborgs, Dotes, and being able to protect rear guards. It's just nice to have, and I'm able to unflip Counterblast pretty easily in this deck. 4 Coiling Duckbill. For those of you that don't know what he does, whenever he's play, I can choose another one of my Great Nature rear guards, and that during the end phase, whenever it's retired, I may draw a card in its place. It's pretty nice. 4 Stride Enablers, Mini Belly. He, of course, searches out the stride, or allows me to use Stride, but he also searches out Big Belly. It's nice, it gives me options. And finally, 2 AK boosters. You could use Silver Wolf if you like, I just wanted a new face.
What kind of combinations can you do with that AK?
That's right. 8k plus 9k plus 4k power from one of your units, swinging in for 21.
There we go. Such a useful card.
Very
useful.
useful.
It's a cat.
It is a cat. Cats are great. I play 4 Researcher Fox because I play 4 Tester Fox. Illusion Scientist Researcher Fox's skill is you can, at the end phase, whenever it's retired, if your Vanguard is in Legion, you may search out a copy of either of the foxes on the Vanguard circle and add it to your hand. It works very well with the Tester Fox, her partner, and yeah, there isn't much else to say about that one. I also play 4 Set Square Penguins, which in this deck build I do not have Crayon Tigers because 1, I do not have them, and 2, really, you can build, just because you don't have Crayon Tigers doesn't necessarily mean that you can't build the deck well. It is a very, very good deck, and it will play fantastically. Set Square's ability is exactly like Coiling Duckbill from earlier. This one. The difference being it can also unflip a damage, and it's at Generation Break 1, so you need to stride before you use it. As I said before, I do not have Crayon Tigers, but when I get them, I'm probably going to replace Binoculus Tiger because they essentially do the same thing with 4K. Binoculus Tiger, you can swing in, which this is also usable on the Vanguard circle, which is why I use him over Tapir. You can swing in and give plus 4k to any rearguard unit that you may need. It's pretty nice.
What happens to him at the end of the turn?
It retires at the end of turn.
There we go.
Uh, I'm going to go as far to say this is the star of the deck, and also my favorite card in the game, Magical Scientist Tester Fox. He is fantastic. So, of course, while he's not in Legion, he could swing in, give plus 4,000 to another unit, but it retires at the end of the turn. But when he is in Legion, if I am to retire one of the foxes, including this one, I can unflip a damage, draw a card, and then put 2 cards from my drop zone onto the bottom of the deck. The unflips work for any unit that I may retire. However, for Researcher Fox, it does not, or it does the other things as well. It also works with a Rearguard Tester Fox. It's very good, and it's good in this format because...
Did you ever mention his abilities?
Yeah.
In Legion?
Yeah, I just mentioned it.
I don't know, I zoned out for like a minute.
Yeah, I understand. I also played 2 Big Bellies. They're searchable, so you really don't need to play the 4, and you can use the other 2 for Contradiction Instructor, Tuskmaster. What Big Belly does, he's the Chronojet of Great Nature, the Alt Mile, the Asha,
G-Breaker.
the G-Breaker. His skill is whenever he's stridden over, I can choose 2 rear guards that I have on the field, give them plus 4k power, and if they are in the same column as a unit that hits a Vanguard, or if they hit the Vanguard themselves, I may draw a card. So it's very good, and Tester Fox and Big Berry both have their advantages. I played 2 Tuskmaster due to the lack of Crayon Tigers, and also because Crayon Tiger and Contradiction Instructor do the same exact thing, essentially. The only difference is, or what it does, I should start there, is that if you swing in with it, if you attack a Vanguard, you may counterblast 1 to restand any other rearguard that you would like. It gets 4,000 power, and at the end of turn, you retire it. It's the same thing as Crayon Tiger, however, Crayon Tiger needs to be boosted, and Contradiction Instructor does not, which could be problematic at some times, but it seems to work out pretty well. As for my G-Zone, I play 2 Mana Garmer. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, why don't I play 4? Because if you play the deck right, you really don't need 4. 2 by itself can either cripple your opponent to where they cannot defeat you, have no hand, or it will win you the game. His skill is Counterblast 1 and Persona Stride. Whenever you can choose 2 rear guards, give it plus 4,000 power, and they get Glory Maelstrom abilities where those rear guards, they cannot be guarded by grade 1s or higher, with the exception of intercepts, which is what makes Contradiction Instructor so good. Basically the ace stride of the deck. 1 Atmos, 1 Blizza, essentially filler. Whenever Omniscience Dragon fails, you got a Blizza. Pretty nice. And finally, I play 4 Honorary Professor Phoenix. What it does is whenever it attacks a Vanguard, you could choose up to 2 rear guards, give it plus 4k power, and at the end of turn, retire. You don't have to give more than 1 if you don't want, and you don't have to at all. But what makes this card so good is how it combos with the ace of the deck and its companion, Researcher Fox. So what you do, you stride over, and then you have, so straight over, then you set up, have a fox here, have a fox there.
There are fox everywhere,
Foxes everywhere. What does the fox say? It says, sack me and win games. Swing in, plus 4k. At the end of turn, stride goes away, and these 2 retire. But because these abilities activate in the end phase, they still work. So you would be able to unflip 2 damage, draw 2 cards, and take 4 cards from the bottom of your deck, or from your drop zone, and put them onto the bottom of your deck. Meanwhile, you could do the same thing with 2 of these foxes on rear guard. Counterblast 2, search for a Stride Fodder, search for a fox, whatever your heart desires for your next turn, and potentially defeating your opponent. That is the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for tuning in, and see you later.
Hosted by Imagine Your Goddess.